In this video, I'm going to be very vulnerable, open, and honest.
Well guys, it's here. The moment that every single Twitter user has been patiently awaiting has finally arrived, and well, it's about what I expected. Dream, the most hated man on the internet, has finally released his response video where he addresses all of the allegations and the controversy that's been surrounding him. Yesterday, Dream released a 1.5 hour long video where he addresses about a dozen different situations he's found himself in, most notably the recent situation involving Nicholas Cantu, and the grooming allegations that have been made against him over the last month or so. He addresses those two things alongside about 10 other situations that he's been through, like the whole speedrunning scandal, the face leaks of him, and I've got to say, it's a pretty solid video. He came with a lot of receipts and a lot of evidence, and from what I can tell, he has pretty effectively begun to clear his name. He goes through a lot of different stuff and makes a whole lot of really good points. If you haven't seen the video, I would recommend you go give it a watch, because it's very well made. Some of the animation choices or visual choices are a little bit questionable for a video of this nature, but the video is a good video, okay? Now, if you haven't watched the full video and you're about to comment something about this situation, I want you to know that you are an idiot. You are a little bit of a stupid person. I'm sorry, I gotta break it to you, because if you are going to comment on this situation without giving someone a fair chance to clear their name, nothing you say is really worthwhile. Dream seems to have basically addressed every single thing that was said about him, with evidence that what people said about him was not true. The one thing that I am personally a little bit iffy about are the statements he put in the description, which are just typed out messages on Pastebin. It's obviously a little bit difficult to really verify that anybody made these other than Dream. However, during all of this, Dream makes a very good point, which I feel like a lot of people are going to ignore. But if you ignore this point, I don't think you really have any business talking about this. Some things can't really be disproven. If I were to grab your phone, scroll through your contacts until I found someone that you've never texted before, and I said to you, prove to me you've never groomed this person, tell me how you would do that. You can't. It's easier to prove you've never done something with a person you've spent hours talking to than it is to disprove some random allegation that comes out of nowhere. Because over the last few years, it has been proven that people are looking for anything to use against Dream, so they're going to take an allegation like this at face value. Even if all the evidence could be easily faked, they're going to believe it because it's Dream. From what I understood from the video, the most recent allegations involved a girl named Jamie, and this Jamie person did not want to be wrapped up in all this because apparently none of this actually happened, so these statements were made in such a way to not identify this person, and I believe that. Honestly, I do. I still have a bit of a gripe with the way they were presented, but I am inclined to believe them because these burner accounts that were making all of these allegations have been proven to be liars. As Dream demonstrated in this video, he called the police stations that these burner accounts claimed to make reports to, and there were no reports. There were no police reports involving Dream across the entirety of the state of Florida, which according to these burner accounts, there should have been multiple. So if you lie about something as serious as filing a police report against somebody for grooming a minor, I feel like lying about grooming allegations is not that far of a step for you. Also, the owners of all of these burner accounts said that they would happily provide their personal information to Dream if he wanted to sue them, and now that these allegations are started to be proven as false, suddenly that offer's off the table. So yeah, I think that Dream is probably telling the truth here. He has provided real hard evidence while no one else has. I know that's probably going to upset some people, but unfortunately for you, I'm not a 13-year-old Twitter troll who just attacks people for funsies. I only attack them if they make bad life lesson videos. So I tend to side with the party that has actually presented hard evidence. I know. Crazy. Now, I'm not going to be sitting here summarizing his response video. Like I said, I would just recommend you go and give it a watch. My goal with this video is to try and highlight a few things that I think might be skipped over in his response, and then also to try and just reason with people, because some of the stuff I've seen involving this situation is insane. The main thing I'd like to talk about in this video is just this general dehumanization of people on the internet that I think is getting more and more common. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I don't think there is a more hated man on the internet than Dream. I mean, it's kind of got into like a comical level of hatred. People just hate this guy to hate him. And I think it's really contributed to all these allegations being made against him. People just want to cause him misery. I mean, I remember like 10 minutes after seeing this video was uploaded, people were already on Twitter saying that nothing he said in the video made sense, that it was all just lies and none of it was true, making up things, like actually just saying things that were completely false, that weren't even in the video, that ended up trending and influencing influencing who knows how many tens of thousands of people, making them think this response video contained certain things that it just did not. Because as we have observed, people will do literally anything to damage Dream's name, and making up things that have absolutely no basis in reality is not off the table. It actually kind of seems like that tends to be the preferred weapon of choice. Now look, I grew up in the era of the internet being absolutely lawless. I liked Leafy in middle school. Okay, that's the kind of kid I was. So I understand that for a lot of people, when you see something on the internet you don't like, or a content creator that rubs you the wrong way, for a lot of people your first instinct is to say something bad about them. I get it. I made a living off of it. But there's a difference between saying somebody is a little bit cringy, or their content stinky, or even making a full video saying this person's content is terrible. It is one thing to not like somebody's online persona and not like their content, and it is perfectly okay to comment on stuff like that. If you put it on the internet, you are opening yourself up to criticism. But there is a difference between saying, hey, this guy's content sucks, here's why, and hey, I don't like this Minecraft guy, I find him cringy. I'm gonna accuse him of one of the most heinous crimes a human can commit. There's a bit of a difference between those two things, and people have forgotten that. Because I feel like people start to genuinely forget the things they are saying, the things they are doing are directed to another human, another real person. I feel like this is even further solidified if you watch Dream's video, because he talks about all the doxing he's been through. I'll play a quick clip here.
And I also feel much more comfortable about my personal information and how I look and so on. The day the face leak was posted, I was playing a Minecraft tournament and someone called the SWAT team on me.
Dream is AFK.
I'm clear here.
I was put in handcuffs on my front lawn with cops with rifles pointing at me, and I was pretty much swatted from that day on almost daily, to the point where the reason Sapnet moved in with me before my face reveal was to answer the door when police showed up. Because people started camping outside with cameras to try and reveal my face, and I needed someone else to answer the door. When the people that were doxing me thought that they had the wrong address, my family ended up getting swatted, and my mom answered the door thinking that it was pizza for her and my little sister. They were held at gunpoint with police helicopters circling the neighborhood. People showed up at my house, people showed up at my family's house. The first time I ever got swatted, I made sure not to mention it at all. Funnily enough, I actually got interviewed by a SWAT team member while I was muted and playing Minecraft parkour with the SWAT officer right next to me. But yeah, it's just all to show that even though I was very adamant about denying the face leak, it was much more about the fact that there was so much personal information attached to the picture, and I wanted as much separation from it as possible. It had nothing to do with how I look.
People who dislike Dream are willing to potentially get his family killed by a SWAT team, yet for some reason, it's unbelievable to people that someone might lie about an allegation against him. People are willing to show up to Dream's house, his family members' houses, send SWAT teams to both houses. And for what reason? Because people didn't like the Minecraft content he made? Because he's kind of cringy? Is that really a justification for sending a SWAT team to his mother's house? I feel like probably not. It's just insane to me how some people are so easily able to forget that what they're doing is affecting another human. Like in any of these situations, Dream or anybody associated with him could have been killed. It's happened before when swatting has happened. Is that the end goal? Do people really hate this guy that much that they don't care if he dies because they don't like his Minecraft content? Because they think he's a little weird, they think he's a little cringy? I mean, it's just insane to me that some people are this disconnected. It's also pretty insane to me how well Dream has handled all of this, because I don't think most people would react this way. Not only is it very easy with a good lawyer to get somebody held responsible for swatting, but having people show up at your door or your family's door just for fun, just to come see you, it costs $0 to have somebody trespassed, and then if they ever come back, they're gonna have some serious legal issues to deal with. And then all of these allegations, all of these things that are said about Dream, I don't know if he just doesn't think it's worth the time, but these are dozens upon dozens of slander lawsuits. Slander lawsuits that would financially ruin the people making these allegations. If Dream knows he's innocent, which I hope he does because I'm kind of sticking my neck out for him here, he should be pursuing these lawsuits, at least against the people making these big allegations. When it comes to slander like this, it's pretty easy to sue for damages. Dream would not have a very hard time proving that these allegations have hurt his income and hurt his livelihood, and you know what you get to sue for if you prove that? The projected income that you lost. Dream is making a lot of money from YouTube ad revenue. These people couldn't pay it, they'd be ruined. They'd go bankrupt. I think that's why all these burner accounts are disappearing, because they were most likely made by kids, and they didn't really realize what they were getting themselves into. Nobody's anonymous on the internet. This has been proven time and time again. Dream and other big YouTubers, they have the time and they have the money. Why they wouldn't be dropping lawsuits left and right, I don't really understand. What I also don't understand is how some people just have no sympathy whatsoever. Like, look, I get it. If you really thought this this guy was a groomer, I totally understand and am totally on board with having no sympathy for a person who does that. But when a person brings out an hour's worth of evidence to prove you wrong, and you choose not to believe any of it and continue hating a person because you saw an unsubstantiated tweet, at what point are you the bad person? I mean, seriously, we've gotten to a point on the internet that when it comes to certain people, certain creators, it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter if they prove their innocence. It doesn't matter what evidence they bring forward. It's just socially acceptable to say whatever you want about them, whether it's a lie or not. Dream could literally go and donate every single cent he has to an orphan shelter, and somebody would be like, oh, he's trying to find his new girlfriend. The people who do this kind of stuff, the people who have made it their entire personality to just hate Dream, they don't care about the reality of the situation. They don't. They do not care whether or not he's actually a groomer. They don't care for the evidence. They don't care if the allegations are true. They don't care if he has evidence to say they're not true. They just want Dream to be a bad person. Dream makes a good point that these people don't actually care about the victims. They don't. They literally want, they're hoping Dream is a pedophile. They want there to be victims of Dream. These people are hoping, they're actively wanting people to be victimized by Dream. It's something I never even really clocked until Dream brought it up, but the whole celebration of the internet when these allegations came out, if you step back for a second and really think about it, it's disgusting. Let's say that Dream really was a child groomer, that he really did do these things to underage children. Can you imagine celebrating that just because you don't like Dream? These children would have been traumatized and had their life ruined, and you're celebrating it? That's your genuine reaction? It's sick. These people on Twitter do not give one singular shit about the real victims of these crimes. If they did, they would not be celebrating finding out that there's more of them, that more people have been the victim of one of the worst crimes a person can commit. This is akin to finding out a celebrity that you've never liked murdered somebody and then going on to Twitter and saying, I finally have a legitimate reason to not like this person. Let's go! You don't actually care about the victim. You don't actually care that a horrible crime has been committed. All that you care about is that your unexplainable, irrational hate for a person you've never met in your entire life is now justified. That's what you really care about, not the victims. If you clicked on this video to make a comment about how Dream is still a terrible person, then this video is not for you, because you are a person who can be reasoned with. If effectively debunking 3 huge allegations made against him with hard public evidence is not enough for you, then nothing will ever be enough for you. And this video is not even really me defending Dream. I still don't like Dream as a content creator. This is me just saying what I saw in that video. I feel like what's happening here is a lot of younger people get caught up in the mindset of only one thing can be true at a time. You can acknowledge that Dream has put a lot of the stuff that people have been saying about him to bed and has done a pretty good job to clear his name with his video and still not like him as a person. You can still find him cringy. You can still think his content is bad. But what you can't do is choose to ignore every single thing he's brought to light, and because you don't like him, say, well, I still think he's a pedophile, and then wait around for a new person to make a new allegation, and then jump all over it and proceed to have zero accountability for the things you said and the things you spread for when that allegation is also proven to be false. When a person does their due diligence and proves themselves innocent, you don't get to decide that they're not. Doesn't matter how much you don't like them, doesn't matter how much you hate their content, you don't get to speak evidence out of existence. The internet is already a place of guilty until proven innocent. It cannot be a place of guilty because I want you to be. That's just not how things work. Well guys, I'm sure the comment section of this video is going to be super civil and very lovely to go through. What are your guys' thoughts? What do you think about this whole situation? What do you think about Dream's video? Like I said, I thought it was pretty solid. There were some questionable choices. I still can't really decide if it was hilarious or inappropriate to use the cop from Amazing World of Gumball for that sequence. I'm sort of leaning on the side of hilarious though. Bottom line, I feel like if you actually watch the video from start to finish and you still hate Dream, you still think he's super guilty, that nothing would sway you. You're just stuck in your ways. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.